what's up everyone, TJ here. So last season I had the opportunity to head out to Mammoth Mountain for a Freeride test in collaboration with Snowboard Mag. And in this video, I'm gonna highlight the 5 snowboards that we were able to test on that trip. Big thank you to Snowboard Mag for supporting the channel, and the magazine is available now. If you wanna get your hands on it, I'll have that linked down in the description below. And without further ado, let's get into the snowboards. All right, before we jump into each snowboard individually, I want to mention a couple things that all of these snowboards are going to have in common. First is they're all going to have a sintered base, which is a higher end base material known to be harder, faster, and more durable compared to an extruded base. And they're all going to have a directional design. Now that's going to vary a little bit from board to board, so I'll get into those details as we talk about each one. But I just wanted to mention those couple things up front. And the first snowboard I want to highlight is the SALOMON HIGHPATH. As far as the directionality in this one, you're going to find that directional outline, so a slightly longer nose than tail outside the contact points, increasing the surface area up front when you're in soft snow, as well as 3 millimeters of taper, so a slightly narrower tail, reducing the surface area in the back of the snowboard, and a 20 millimeter setback, shifting the insert packs a little bit closer to the tail, naturally keeping your weight a little bit further back on the snowboard. All those things are going to work together to help this board out if you take it in powder or softer snow. This is going to be a camber dominant snowboard. It runs Salomon's Rock Out Camber. So the way that profile looks is camber zones under your feet with a flat section between the feet, creating that camber feel through the main body of the snowboard, and a little bit of rocker in the nose and tail to mellow things out and add to that benefit in soft snow as well. The HIGHPATH is going to have a noticeably lightweight construction and a pretty average waist width and side cut. On the 156 I was riding, you're going to find a 255 millimeter waist, so not particularly wide, but going to be suitable for most people out there, as well as a 7.3 meter side cut. So that's going to feel comfortable at a wide variety of speeds as you're out there exploring. As far as the overall feel on this one, I'd say it does fall a little bit on the more playful side of the spectrum. It's a board that you can get some nice flex out of if you're trying to play around on side hits and doing flat ground stuff around the resort on days where you don't have fresh snow. It's going to feel good for cruising and exploring, but it does have a more manageable feel to it. It's a board that you can find the limits of if you really start to push it out there. And of course, does have those directional features to help you out when there is some new snow coming down and you find yourself on the resort on a deeper day to make that powder experience a little bit more enjoyable. So just a great general resort explorer for a wide variety of conditions with a more manageable feel to it. And the next board I want to highlight is the NEVERSUMMER PROTO FR. This board's also going to have a slightly directional outline, as well as run 5 millimeters of taper and a 19 millimeter setback. But one of the most unique things about this snowboard is its camber profile. It's going to run NEVERSUMMER's triple camber, so it's going to have a different feel from what you might be used to if you've ridden NEVERSUMMERs in the past. It's going to be a little bit more locked in, it's going to track a little bit straighter, and it's going to have a little bit more energy to it. So this profile is going to have camber under your feet like you're used to seeing from NEVERSUMMER, but is also going to offer an additional camber zone between the feet with rocker zones in between. So it's still going to be rocker dominant overall, but it's going to be a little bit more locked in and offer a little bit more power and energy to it compared to the traditional rocker camber that you see from NEVERSUMMER. The Proto FR is going to be pretty stiff and offer a powerful feel. I rode this snowboard in a 160, and at that size you're going to find a 25.8 centimeter waist width, so decently wide, going to have a good feel for carving, as well as a 7.6 meter side cut that's going to feel good at a wide variety of speeds. This is a board that's going to stand up to a more aggressive riding style. It's going to be a solid choice for like a high-speed free ride approach to exploring the resort. It's one of those boards that really doesn't have a speed limit. You can really push it. You're not going to be finding any chatter or vibrations in it. It's going to have a solid, confident feel to it. So if you're looking for something like that in a directional outline to still offer a nice feel in soft snow, check out the NEVERSUMMER PROTO FR. And the third board on this list is the RAVINE. This one's going to have a more significant directional outline to it with a much longer nose outside the front contact points, as well as a 7.5 millimeter taper and a 15 millimeter setback. You're going to find a directional camber profile in this one, but it is camber dominant. It's what I like to call a shifted camber. So from right around the front insert pack going out to the tail, it's going to be positive camber, giving you that more energetic, powerful feel, with reverse camber outside the front foot leading out into the nose for smoother turn initiation and to help you out in soft snow as well. You're also going to get what Rome calls their directional diamond 3D nose, which is an uplifted base and edge on the sides of the snowboard from the nose going down past the contact points. It's going to offer a smoother glide in powder, as well as make the board more catch-free on hard pack, especially if you're leaned into the nose doing butters or anything like that. And with that longer nose, you do get a lot more leverage up front for doing that kind of stuff, which actually has a pretty fun feel to it on this one. But for me, the biggest highlight with the Ravine is its very freestyle friendly flex. I'd say it's pretty middle of the road, a solid mid flex to it. And while taking these directional boards into the park is a little bit more of a novelty, if you're aware of that directionality, particularly that longer nose, you can actually have a really good time in there on both jumps and rails, in my opinion. And it's still fun for butters and flat ground type stuff as well. And obviously going to be a great choice for hunting down natural features. So it's got all the directionality to offer a nice benefit and a good feel in soft snow. It's going to enhance the carving experience with those directional features combined with that shifted camber as well. So if you're looking for something like that with a nice freestyle friendly personality and all the features to help you out for more all mountain freeride exploring as well, consider the Rome Ravine. The next board I want to highlight is the BURTON Hometown Hero. This one's also going to have that slightly directional outline combined with 12 millimeters of taper and a significant 40 millimeters setback. It also runs a shifted camber, so positive camber from that front foot going all the way out to the tail, giving you that more powerful, precise camber feel, with reverse camber running outside the front foot out into the nose, as well as some carbon additives for more energy, snap, and response. And of course has BURTON's channel system for unlimited stance width options as well. I rode this snowboard in a 152, and at that size you're going to find a 24.8 centimeter waist width, so it's a little bit narrower, something to keep in mind if you have a larger boot size. And it also has a 7.2 meter side cut at a 152. And for me, a couple of the biggest highlights of the Hometown Hero is the overall powerful feel you're going to find in this snowboard. I'd say the flex is a little bit on the stiffer side of medium, and it's the kind of board that's going to be able to really power through more chundery or chopped up conditions and keep you feeling confident through those scenarios, as well as how surprisingly freestyle friendly it is. Even though it is quite directional, it's going to have a solid feel in the park for both rails and jumps. Although I'd say with how stiff it is, it's maybe a little bit more jump leaning, and definitely going to be an awesome choice for hunting down natural features, looking for those larger drops in those situations where stability is going to come in handy. So if you're looking for something like that, consider the BURTON Hometown Hero. And the final board on this list is the ARBOR CROSSCUT Camber. This one's going to have a more traditional freeride shape to it with a significantly longer nose outside the front contact points, giving you much more surface area up there, as well as 9 millimeters of taper and a 10 millimeter setback. It runs the camber system from ARBOR, so it's going to have that true camber profile to it, but it's a parabolic camber, so that's heaviest between the feet and tapers off a little bit as you get closer to the contact points, but still going to come through with that classic camber shape to it. Another part of that is their Grip Tech side cut, which is a couple of added contact points on both the toe and the heel edge, placed right under your feet. It's going to offer noticeable bite in more firm and icy conditions and give you a confident feel in those scenarios, as well as their uprise fenders, which you're going to find at the main contact points in both the tip and the tail of the snowboard. And it's basically a slight bevel of the base and edge isolated right at those contact points. It's going to give the board a more catch-free feel when you're flat base on hard pack. I rode the CROSSCUT camber in a 158, and it has an above average side cut that's going to naturally throw you into longer, more drawn out turns and have a great feel as you get the snowboard up to higher speeds, where I think the personality might come out a little bit more in this one. It's got a pretty average waist width. At a 158, you're going to find a 25.4 centimeter waist and a pretty solid mid flex, or maybe just a little bit on the stiffer side of medium. So it's going to come through with some nice stability to it. And I think the biggest highlights for me with the CROSSCUT camber is just the overall carving experience, that positive camber combined with everything else that you get in the camber system, particularly that Grip Tech. I think that's super noticeable in the feel of the snowboard and really helps you out in a variety of situations as you're out there exploring. It's got a great confident feel for carving and just general exploring the entire resort with a more freeride approach to your riding, as well as all the directional features that you need to feel confident on even a really deep day out there. So if you're looking for something like that, consider the Arbor CrossCut Camber. And that's going to be it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want to learn more about any of these snowboards, I'll have them linked down in the description below, as well as a comprehensive review for each of these boards down there as well. If you've had a chance to ride any of them, please leave us your feedback down in the comments. You can leave any questions for me down there as well. Drop a like if you got some value. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. I appreciate all you guys. Thanks for watching today, and we'll see you in a new one next time.